My name is Christopher Willers, and I'm the founder of the Life Unit, Inc. And today, I'm here to speak to you about financial literacy and financial success. First, let me tell you why it's extremely important to me. You see, in 2003, I was sentenced to 144 years. Why? Because I gambled my freedom over a few $100s. I didn't have financial literacy back then. I didn't understand the importance of money. And because I found myself broke and not having a clear path on how to gain financially again, I risked it all. And I didn't actually figure out how to be financially literate until I was on the inside, because it was only then that I was concerned with my freedom and what life would look like going forward. So today, I'm here to speak to you, not just from somebody reading out of a book, but from somebody that's lived behind those same walls that you may be in right now for 16 years, 11 months. This video is broken into 4 different parts: earning potential, need versus wants, staying debt-free, and reentry debit card. Let's speak about financial literacy and financial success now. Part 1, earnings potential. When I first started doing time, I remember an old timer telling me, the job that you get is gonna determine your path going forward. And depending upon your overall behavior, how you've been able to check off certain things when it comes to what you've been able to do, you can get a better job. What does a better job look like? Well, it means that you're not making necessarily 27 cents an hour. Maybe you're making 35, 45, and even more in a VCE or peer support position. When I was given the opportunity to get a better job, well, I felt more valuable. I felt more self-worth. One of the best jobs I was able to get while being incarcerated was working in the reentry community as an elder or a mentor. And not only did I get better pay, but I got better opportunities. And I believe I was also saw and seen as a peer, not just from my individuals that were incarcerated with me, but from the staff there. And I was able to connect with people on the outside just from having that position on the inside. It made a big difference from working in the kitchen where, yeah, I was able to eat good, but having this position as an elder, working in the reentry community and supporting those getting ready to go home, I felt value, not just on the inside, but on the outside as well. At the end of the day, your behavior and how you handle yourself on the inside directly correlates with the type of job you can get on the inside and to the type of job you can get on the outside. So it is extremely important, your behavior and how it relates to the type of job that you can get on the inside. Because at the end of the day, you want to make as much as possible so your pathway forward can be a little bit clearer. Part 2, needs versus wants. Building financial discipline is key on the inside if you want to be financially disciplined on the outside. When it comes to commissary, this is one of the few areas that you actually feel like you can make a decision. You have a sense of freedom there because you can choose what you want to purchase or buy. But here's the thing, you got to be smart about it because commissary isn't cheap, and depending upon what you spend your money on, well, your sentence or your bid or whatever you want to call it can become easier or harder. For instance, I remember guys that every single chance they got would run to commissary only to get honey buns and other things that would disappear within a couple of days. What about their hygiene? What about stamps to write their family members? What about the things that they needed? Because oftentimes they didn't have those. So I want to encourage every single one of you to purchase what is needed. Hygiene, stuff to make sure you can communicate with your family. Keep the zooms and whams, as they say, last. Get what's needed. And you already know the chow hall may not necessarily be serving something you want that day, so make sure you have something in the box to feed that void. And also, only get what you need so you can save the rest of your money. It's extremely important because as once I was told, you're only spending your money on sugar and salt. So get what you need, not what you want. Save your money and spend it on something good, like a steak or something when you come home. There's plenty of things I want to spend my money on, but I know I have no business doing that. So I built up a tolerance and I built up the ability to be disciplined when it came to my spending because I started that on the inside. I only got what I needed. And occasionally I would treat myself, and I stick to that same formula out here. I get what I need, I pay my bills, and occasionally I treat myself. But best believe my priorities are always first. Part 3, staying debt-free. You may have heard once or twice, especially from one of the old timers before you came down the road, whatever you do, don't go in debt. What did that look like for me? Well, I didn't gamble, I didn't go to the store box, man, and I made sure I knew how to live without. If I ran out, that was it. And the reason was simple. I wanted to stay out of conflict. I wanted to stay out of debt. And I wanted to keep myself out of any situation that could potentially put me in harm's path. To be in debt in prison is never a good thing because emotions get involved and sometimes commissary doesn't come on time. I can tell you from working in reentry, working with the loved ones of people that are still doing time as well, that too often we hear about people calling home from prison asking for money every single day. And when their loved one asks me, what could they be spending that money on? Well, my answer is always simple and true. Either they're suffering from addiction or they're in debt. And if the first one's there, the second one is too. I want to strongly encourage each and every one of you to practice good self-discipline. Don't go into debt and make sure that your family doesn't feel the stress that you may be bringing onto yourself and them by making that decision. And not to mention, if you can practice that in here while you're doing time, guess what? You can practice that out there. And trust me, when it comes to being out here in the real world, you want to stay debt-free as much as possible. Part 4, the reentry debit card. The next thing I want to talk about is the reentry debit card. The simple fact that now they're issuing people going home debit cards is a game changer. Because I remember when I first got incarcerated, men and women went home with $25 and a bus ticket. They weren't promised or guaranteed to have their ID, birth certificate, or any funds with them outside of the door. So to have this is definitely a difference maker. Make sure, and I mean this, make sure that upon your release, you call that number that's given to you so you can activate it and receive all of your funds that are in your savings or any of the monies that you've earned from your paycheck. And not to mention, make sure if you pull all your money off like I did, so I could go start my first bank account, that you keep your card because you may have a backup paycheck coming from any money that you still owed from Department of Corrections. The money on this debit card comes from the money that you've earned while working in the institution, hopefully getting one of those better jobs that I've discussed earlier. It also comes from the money that you saved. And I hope that you've been turning in a couple of green sheets here and there to save some money additionally on your books. Because that's the money that's gonna give you that cushion, give you that time when it comes to looking for a job. It's gonna also give you the opportunity to pay any fees to get your license, maybe pay fare to take a bus to get to your first interview. But this is the money that's gonna help you be successful. It's gonna help set up those things that you need to accomplish once you return home. It's also extremely important that once you remove all funds and you're no longer using it, that you deactivate the card. Let me tell you something. When I first used this debit card, it reminded me of how long I was gone, but that I was once human again. I remember going to Walmart, going to self-checkout, using the card and saying, I have free will again. I can spend money. But immediately after, I went to the bank and put the remaining funds and I started my first checking account and savings account. And to this day, I'm still using the same bank, and that's with the first money that opened that. So it's extremely important that you use it. It's an opportunity. But make sure that once you're done, you deactivate it. Having a plan going out the door ensures you that you can make progress faster than those that don't. So hopefully, as we're reaching the end of this video, you've picked up a couple of tips and pointers that I promise you helped me along my journey. Because in 2003, I was sentenced to 144 years in prison, and I ended up doing 16 years, 11 months. I can tell you that if I didn't practice good financial literacy, budgeting, and more, that I wouldn't find a level of success that I have today. I had to practice back then how I wanted to live now. If you're watching this, then that means that you're still here and still thinking, and you're capable of making a different decision tomorrow. Behavior is your financial record. Protect it. And I'm telling you now, you can achieve anything, including financial success. Stay free.